Welcome back, fellow armchair generals, to Rommel's Big Battles in Africa. Italian East Africa this time instead of Italian North Africa. But yeah, we're continuing the battles down here in Ethiopia. And now that we have this port, we need to... Oh, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Love to see you around more often. Okay, these guys, we're going to rebase them over here, and probably where I should have sent them in the first place. Yeah, you guys come up here. We're gonna see about invading Yemen next. Oh, we're not sending supplies down to Djibouti, and that's our duty to do so. Okay. Create a supply convoy from... Go to the bottom. Rikia. Or however you pronounce it, to... Isn't it there? Called something else? Okay, it's called Obak. So I did see that there. I was wondering what that was. So down to the bottom, down to the bottom, Obak. Good. And how big of a port that is that? Level 3, but right now sort of damaged. No, sure, you may have the supplies. And let's also see if we can sell some supplies to the Soviets. I know they sort of asked for and then canceled their last supply purchase. Offer a trade agreement. Let's sell them. Yeah, 33 supplies. That sounds good. Not a whole 50, so maybe they'll let that one through and keep that going. Okay, U-boat pens in La Rochelle. This will move my monitor a bit, probably hearing it on the mic. Okay, constructions of the U-boat bunker in La Palisse, the primary port of La Rochelle. Started in April 41. The construction of the 10 U-boat pens lasted 2 years. But already from November 41, the first U-boats began to arrive. The 3rd German U-boat flotilla had its headquarters in La Palisse. I'm sure I'm butchering the French. If I can butcher the Germans, if I can butcher German, I'm going to even butcher the French as well. So, down here. And remained here until August 44, when the flotilla was moved to Norway because of Allied landings in Normandy D-Day. June of that year. In August 44, the bunker became exposed to repeated air attacks and was directly hit by 6 of the big tall boy bombs. The upper roof was badly damaged, but the bombs did not manage to penetrate the lower roof, and no U-boats were damaged. By the 12th of September 44, the Allies had encircled the entire naval base, and a long siege began. The base was defended by 20,000 German soldiers, and the siege continued until it capitulated at the very end of the war. During this period, all supplies to the base were delivered by U-boats. Okay, so 8,000 supplies. We can afford that. We got 83,000. What's that? 10,000 energy. Yeah, we can easily afford the energy. No problem. Supplies, you know, energy. Hey, knock yourself out. And we'll gain some trait improvements, which is good. Level 2 shipyard. Because these pens were also, if I'm not mistaken, at least some of the stuff up in Lorient was manufacturing, and I think these may have been too. U-boats, you know, sending all the bits and pieces being assembled at the facility, as well as just a basing place for them. Naval base. Level 1. I know it says lose. Don't. It's unless there's a minus symbol there. Don't pay attention to the lose. And we will also get flat guns. That will be also useful. Keep away from. So we'll take that. So That is helpful. And Flak Tower 2. Flak Turm was situated in Berlin. Friedrichshafen and went operational October 41. The Flak Tower operated in pairs. Gun towers known as, yeah, we read a bunch of this in a similar sort of thing. Good spot bombers incoming 50 miles away. Yes, these gun towers supported a battery of 8 128mm cannons. These were supersized versions of the famous 88mm gun. Well, that's a Fock Verlaine here, and they would have those on the sort of lower pedals around the main thing. There were, you say the famous 88mm gun. There were two 88mm guns, and I mean that in the sense of there was the one that's sort of the famous one that you see in Africa, and whatnot, being towed behind the half tracks. But we need to pick these guys up. Being towed behind the half tracks, and you guys will come over and pick them up right now. With the sort of the flat, big tower, flat gun shields and whatnot, you have those. But then you also had another 88mm gun that was still 88mm in diameter. I don't know if the shell itself, the projectile, was actually any longer, but it had a longer cartridge, the more powder behind it. And those are the type, and those they initially designed to be an 88mm gun to get higher altitude at shooting at bombers, basically. But they also set up in a horizontal position, and the if I'm not mistaken, the Oliphant, the Nashorn, and the Tiger II had the higher velocity, bigger 88mm guns than the like the Tiger I, which was sort of the classic 88s. I think I have that right. Okay, so supplies, energy, metal, lose manpower, which hurts. Yeah, okay. I don't know how much we need all that, but we'll take it. Now we should be sending supplies down here. Good. I'll be getting there soon. Okay, good. Well, we now have this northern port linked up to the rest, so we get more supplies down into the rest of Italian East Africa. Great. Okay, subsonic development, jet speed increased. Great. Jet techs. So we'll leave that, of course, it's the one and done. Small ship classes advanced. Great. That'll help a lot of our stuff we're going to continue to operate. Oh, well, we'll probably do that, but we just don't have a burning field need to do so just yet. Well, let's do anti-aircraft guns. Keep our capital ships from being bombed too badly. Yeah, still that's fuel consumption now. Okay. Well, I'm looking at this. Well, let's continue developing things here. Okay, attrition and trickle back. We're going to do those. That will help with the manpower situation. Most assuredly help. Okay, they're pushing them out of there. And let's push these guys out with normal pushing there. Storm's getting a good command. Good support that attack. Punish enemy, no. Okay, it looks like Iraq is now at peace again. Did they end up keeping? Yep. Diplomacy. Oh, are they? They're now an Axis member already. Oh, goody. That's why we got the notification, maybe. We've got them since they won their independence from Britain. They are now an Axis member. Great. Well, great. That will help us. I'm still a little miffed about the whole Iraq or Syria thing. Okay, I'm not going to bother with an HQ. These Jaeger divisions. I think they'll be good for going into Yemen. Yes, rebase down here because we want to invade. Berbera. Cut off the British supplies. Now, you know what we should do here is build an air base. So we can bring supplies in and then we can possibly para-jump some other places, as well as fly supplies, maybe even into East Africa. Oh wow, we need lots of reinforcements. And more supplies being made. Okay, well. There we go. Consumer goods, we're reducing those down, good. Oh, right. That's why, one of the reasons why I came here. Was I knew I needed to move that to the top. Because you can't just, impossible really with the engine is to supply, you know, have German supplies come in here that feed across Italian territory and that kind of thing. But what you can do is bring supplies into here, load them on an airplane, and fly the supplies to an Italian, Italian controlled province, and then you know, which will give the supplies to the Italian operations. Okay, amphibious invasion focus, very good. Amphibious invasion focus. What is that? Oh, here. Okay. So we have that, which reduces weight of a bunch of ships, meaning they can carry more of particularly infantry, light infantry, those kind of things. And they have better amphibious attack, those units, in most things, and also helps out some other things. Great. And yes, that's a one and done. And medium fuel tank research, which opens up a lot of these guys. Okay, well, yep, let's start that. And we've got a little bit more, so let's start that. And I started to talk about these. So, another event, which is with Hearts of Iron 4, you can now upgrade old equipment. So they've done what I was trying to do with game mechanics. But you can see here, this is a Panzer I, and the reason this box is so tall is that they've just basically taken the infantry gun and stuck it there. If you saw from the back, you'd see that the wheels were still on there and the trail is still there. It's just, you know, I don't know, clamp, bolted, something sort of, you know, so it doesn't, you know, recoil out of position. It doesn't move. It's in there good, but you could easily take it out. So that's just a quick fix, but it works. These are that's sort of as new built, and that's out in the desert of the conversion of a 38T with the same 150 millimeter infantry gun. Again, I know most of you know this, but these infantry guns, they're not 150 millimeter howitzers like you would see the big long howitzer, you know, artillery pieces, where they're towed, or like in a Hummel, which was 150 millimeter gun mounted on it's sort of a combo between, there's some elements of a Panzer IV and elements of a Panzer III to the Nashorn and Hummel use basically the same chassis to it. And so I think they're a little more Panzer IIIs than Panzer IVs, but there's some elements with both of those. And those can really shoot, you know, around really far. These have both, even though it's 150 millimeters in diameter, the projectile is much shorter, so it has much less, you know, explosives in it. Not like really powder. It's, you know, I don't know if it's cordite or what, but you know, so it's much less explosives in the round, and the cartridge that shoots them are much less. The Germans had two types of infantry guns, these 150 millimeter ones and a 75 millimeter one. And to give you sort of an idea of the 75 millimeter, you know, I don't know why they didn't mount the L12s or something like that here a little more or efficiently. Don't know. But the 75s were the L12s. And to give you sort of and again, it's a very sort of weak 75 millimeter gun. Give you a comparison. The short barreled guns on the Panzer IVs, you know, the early guns, those are L24s. And the L and the number stands for some sort of measurement element of how much of a cartridge is behind the round that it shoots out. The rounds, of course, are different. So you have the L24, and then which starts out, you know, in the standard weapon for the Panzer IV. Then they move to the L43 gun as sort of an intermediate stage, and then to the L48 gun, and that is basically the you know, the gun of the Pak 40, you know, sort of full powered 75 millimeter gun, and then the sort of super powered 75 millimeter gun is the L70, and it is what's in the Panther, or in the Jag Panzer IVs, at least the they had both the L-48 and the L-70s and those, but you know, those are the sort of super velocity guns. So just sort of give you a size comparison. So the infantry gun was either the L-70 or the 75 millimeter L-12 or the 150 millimeter, and I don't know what if there's an L number to it or whatnot. So this gives us, I think they're here, yes, gives us these. So now we have a bunch, and since we don't have a specific sort of put them as that, do these, yeah. Don't have a, you know, a specific infantry gun versus, you know, a Wasp or a Hummel. But so you get a bunch of those to play with. Add to units, to HQs, to somewhere. Okay, you guys might as well advance a little bit more up in here. Okay, the short barrel HE guns. Again, we were talking about the L-24. It's basically the German version of that. Don't really know how the gun improves. The round improves over time. They move from the L-24 to the L-43 and later L-48 guns, because the short barrel guns aren't very good at penetrating armor, because when you explode something, it takes the path of least resistance, and these were low velocity with high explosive. And I think I play War Thunder, and I hope you watch some of it. Hopefully you find it somewhat enjoyable. I think they're high explosive effects. I have only watched videos of World of Tanks, but I didn't like their hit point system from what I understand, so I've not really played that game. But the high explosive rounds seem to have too much damage effect, in my opinion, in that game. A 37 millimeter round coming out of a, you know, a sort of the standard Panzer 37 millimeter round should have a little more, and I'd have to look it up, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but generally should have a little more armor penetration than the 75 millimeter round. The 75 millimeter round was meant to sort of blow up things, bunkers, you know, whether concrete or earth, wood, logs, rocks, you know, sort of field, or blow up buildings or whatever. And yeah, it can penetrate armor, but it doesn't do it very well. And they improved the round over time a little bit, but then they develop, using the Monroe effect, the sort of hollow charge, the sort of concave cone thing that sends, and that penetrates through it. So that does so well that all of the L-24 guns they take out of Panzer IVs to upgrade them to the better gun end up getting used. They put them in half tracks. I don't know whether they were new build on guns or reused guns. They put in the last models of the Panzer IIIs as a support weapon to the Tigers, which are L-24 guns. So they really extend the life of the gun. So the shell itself really, and a sort of high explosive anti-tank is what does it for. Keeps those guns more relevant, but those are really only start coming in to reasonable use by the Germans, at least at about the time that they've really started swapping out all the production, at least for the longer barreled guns. I'm sure there were some tanks still being used somewhere on some front that probably got updated to those, you know, some Panzer IVs, but I don't know. Okay, let's start doing some of these guys. Like the Blitzkrieg Doctrine, combat movement, better advance, And yes. Okay, you're there yet, right? Yes, onboard boat. Hopefully we're avoiding... Sort of delayed this compared to the first time I played it. Oh, well, let's cancel that. Let's rebase to here temporarily. And go in and clean up these, if these are still fighting. Oh, well, maybe that won't be necessary. I'd really rather use the Panzer armor. Or the desert armor. Down in Africa and get those African units out. Or those armor units that are currently down here out for the East Front. Okay, elite commandos advanced. Okay, so... yeah, we'll let that continue. And naval strike tactics. Yeah, we'll let that continue as well. Increase and decrease. I want to pull most of the here, keep most of these guys near the port to pull them out fairly quickly. We're not there yet, are we? So, okay, create a commando unit. Sure, we'll do that. We like commando units. Who dares wins. And is that in the production queue or on the map? Okay, Schwer infantry, yeah, so probably in the production queue. Yeah, keeping us from spamming commando units everywhere. There's our fleet, it's coming south. Okay, well, we've got this. Let's... Oh, they've killed the unit that was up there. Let's go kill some of these guys. Brazil, money and rare materials. Not that I don't want your rare materials. I don't want to ship them across the Atlantic. Okay, well. You guys come down here. Okay, well, we won only after we got guys, and I guess we didn't even have these. We should have deplaned the Fallschirmjägers. They probably would have helped that battle. Okay, well, back on ship. On board the ships. Come on, get on board. You guys, yeah. Probably come here. Okay, everybody, get back on board ship. You've had your few hours vacation. And invasion of... Okay, you're going out there. I guess you're coming to... I don't know where you're going. Probably to Taz or whatever. Okay, we would give them money for materials. No, thank you. Sinking of the Reuben James. In March 41, the Reuben James joined the convoy escort force established to promote the safe arrival of material in Great Britain. This escort force guarded convoys as far as Iceland, after which they became the responsibility of British escorts. Based at Havalgador. God, Scandinavians. Buy some vowels. She sailed from the naval station Argentia in Newfoundland on October 23rd with 4 other destroyers to escort a convoy eastbound at daybreak on 31st of October. She was torpedoed by U-552 commanded by Kapitan Lieutenant Top, or Eric Top, near Iceland. The Reuben James had positioned herself between an ammunition ship in the convoy and the known position of a wolf pack group of submarines that preyed on Allied shipping. The Reuben James was hit forward by a torpedo meant for the merchant ship, and her entire crew was blown off when a blown up would be better. When a magazine exploded, the bow sank immediately. The aft section floated for 5 minutes before going down. The crew of about 160, just 44 enlisted men survived and, well, blown off. Well, maybe, well, some, I don't know. No officers survived. Okay. And that, I presume, is the picture of the Reuben James. Other than just supplies haven't been getting here. Well, now you have supplies. Rejoin the fight. Again. Set up supply chain for the Africa Corps. The is formed in, okay, well, this nice picture. Those are awfully big wheeled vehicles of some sort. Don't know what those are. Now this is the same thing, an event covering the same thing that I just had. Okay, now I guess it's sort of complementary. I'm presuming this is revolverheld's event. Now we have here, so this is of course craft transport wagon for Speer here. This is the unit. This has a supply effect. So Libya and all get Speer, which supplies. So this just is actually probably better done than mine, to be quite honest with you. Though I like my picture better. I mean, this is a nice picture, but mine sort of has, you know, the added graphics to it. But it's not immediately conflictatory either. So this is sort of a reasonable thing. You get more transport, you know, another transport unit, and this just improves transport in Libya. Of course, that doesn't really affect us terribly much because we're not fighting in Libya right now, at least. Monsoon is over. How is our battle doing? Okay, well, they sort of moved where they broke out a bit. Okay. Well, they're battling. They're not. Okay, Fengelin. That's a bit overkill for the B1. How are we doing here? these guys are still sort of holding out against the SA. The SA is sort of losing. Okay, well. Oh, we need to check. Let's get something speedy here. Nah. Yeah, let's send the SS over here. Another speedy SS unit. Stand up. We head there. Are we up there yet? Yes, we're up here. I think we're doing just fine, and they may actually be breaking themselves more against me. Okay, mass assaults have advanced. Okay, it's here. Yeah, we'll let that go. We can substitute. No, we don't. Stockpiles are big enough. We'll get a cool down. If anything, I want more ICs than less. But I do sort of like that as in a concept. If I wanted to, if I was having trouble, upgrade the 27th Infantry Division to the 17th Panzer. Cool. I already looked at it, but it did look like a nice picture, and we'll move you up to the top. Okay, we've got these guys here. These guys can come down here. Pick up these guys once they've got to finish driving around the desert. I know he doesn't have a commander. Okay, you strike into there. You support that attack there. You're going to eventually join up with the Africa Corps. Yeah, we can attach some people of this Lish division that we can attach. To somebody. Head this way, head this way. I think that other division tipped the balance. A big wet. Okay, British raid in the Adriatic. Over reports British have. Okay. Oh, well, maybe this is that same thing before. Well, let's head this way if that's it. I don't know, maybe that other one was a different one that I hadn't noticed before. Yes, SS Commandos. Oh, what are we? Artillery brigades. Yes, okay, that is too far in advance. I mean, if we had everything else done, yeah, sure, but we don't. Let's do, well, we don't have any, oh, we are over as it is. Okay, that's fine. How are they doing it? Okay, there. Move down to that port. We'll cancel deviation search radars. Continue because having that's good. Okay, an order place. Oh, pause. With Finland? Yeah, okay. Finland could use more Air Force. We like Finns to have a good Air Force to fight Soviets with. They're battling Tito there. Okay, good. Tora. Imperial Japan has attacked the U.S. Okay, so the U.S. is coming into the war now. We will launch her. Yes, we want to do that. And oh, I keep forgetting to. Do we have any more of these guys? Oh. Send them out. Okay. Oh, here's our naval operations. Well. Okay. Convoy raiding out there. Okay, we definitely got chewed up and lost a submarine at least. These guys are probably out here heading around somewhere. Yeah, they're heading back in. Yeah, victories. Okay. And we'll attach you to the Marine Group West and let you reinforce. I've done the Day of Infamy decision, yes. Will you give me fuel? Sure. That'll help. Even with taking this port for the Italians, they're having a bit of trouble. Applying everybody. And sure, I'm eating up a bunch of it, but I'm helping. Now that's partly why I'm moving some of these units over this way. Get them in the German supply zone. British raids in Libya. Okay. Fine. Deutsches Africa reports the British have raided Libyan coast. Okay, expects a Libya at the beach cleared immediately. Okay. Okay, right now I must say, revolverheld, I really like the way you're doing this because right now if this had been a fortified position, obviously it isn't, but had it been, the defenders would be taking advantage of the fortification. That is still, and I don't know if it's been changed. I don't know if you want to try to change it for the D-Day invasions, is that they change control immediately so that the attackers become the defenders. So all the fortifications you build up here actually helps the, you know, is a bad thing to do. You build fortifications on your coast and it helps the invaders. And the response I get back from the Black Ice team, well, you know, the AI is so easy to beat. It just makes it a little bit more challenging, so you should just want to do that. Well, yeah, I want to play with the scripted AIs, or the scripted invasions, because the AI is so pathetic at it. So I want to do that. But I don't quite want to build fortifications for it. You know, so it just, like, really sort of irks me. As opposed to doing what revolverheld is doing, is not changing control of the province. Now, what... And I don't know if revolverheld has done it. Let's see here. I can't tell. Receive supply total. Transport supply. Okay, I can't tell. But what you can do, and part of their thing is well, you can't supply in without controlling the province. You can't supply these invasion forces, so they're maybe out of supply. Well, if you want to, just drop in supply into the province here. And so both attackers and defenders would benefit from the supply. And yeah, so you can sort of simulate that. No, we need a ship. More ships. Okay, they're busy. These guys are... Oh, these are the fast ones. Good. Rebase up to there. Okay, so that's working well. This one... Okay, they... as I expected, they died. Because they ran into a big old battalion. Now, the British did do some... naval invasions behind the lines, I believe, in North Africa. Not that big, but still. Some in support of some of their offensives. Uh-oh. Oh, no, good. We took out their submarines. We normally don't get the reports of that because they're normally taken out by air, but these guys took out some subs. Well, very good. Look at all these convoys coming through there. So, okay, here's what's happened here. And I think I saw it before, and I just forgot about fixing it. I blocked out a section of event numbers with Panzeroo long time ago, saying, "Hey, I want to use these, so please don't use them in Black Ice, so that, you know, this what's just happening doesn't happen." But either I added the Pathfinder event to Tanganyika later, because I know I did add that later, and I've stepped on the same number of sending aid to Iraq. So this is what's happened, is send aid to Iraq, and we've got the text of the Pathfinder event, I guess is what's happened. Both the title, and so there's a conflict in numbers, but it looks like the event's going to work right. This is what's intended. This is part of, as the image sort of says in the description of what to do says, is, do you want to send aid to Iraq now that they are in the Axis? And it's you know, because we can't build there. Airbase or pillbox and airbase level 1 in Baghdad. They already have some, I knew. I got pretty good there, but we'll get and an anti-aircraft gun level 1, so that will really help them out even more. They'll get to level 3. And Dohuk, that is up here. And that I wanted, specifically what really pushed me to do this, airbase level 2 there, and anti-aircraft level and some supplies and fuel. To be able to, when time comes, better either paratroop in or bomb or whatever into the Soviet Union from Iraq. So yes, we want to do that. So yes, our allies just got airbase up there, an improvement. Down here, and a little bit of pillbox, just a little entrenching. So if the British do come advancing in there, they're a little better defended. So conflict minor. No, you're just passing through. Okay, well, they're doing pretty well. Okay, well, what we need to do here, I think, is oh, they all came here, didn't they? Do we have any airbase? Do we? Germany? No. These don't. Okay, so we have to come here and use Italy, because this one isn't built yet. Okay, rebase, which just means taking supplies from the Italians, which is not what I really wanted to do. Okay, we give them supplies for money, except, sure. And Haiti, supplies for money, sure. Folding wings, figuring out how to fold wings, and that's a significant technical ability, I would say. Fold an aircraft wing and keep it rather strong. Or, I'll probably down here in carrier. Yep, carrier operations. We've got our fighters pretty good. Well, we can improve that ability. I think that's a good one. Keep our CAGs from being destroyed. Okay. Deutsche Zeitung in Norwegian. Deutsche Zeitung in Norwegian, the German newspaper in Norway, was an Oslo-based daily paper published in Norway during World War II. It published by the subsidiary of Europa Verlag. I think we already saw this event in an earlier version thingy. Yeah. And deploy flak forces to the 10th Flieger Corps. Sure. Nice photo. That here. Where is the flak units to the 10th Flieger Corps? Ah, okay. Well, let's send them down there. Oh, they've won here. But we are sending up ships that are coming that will get forces that will fight. And, oh yes, sure. Even just for a day. Okay, Army HQs have advanced. Wonderful. Reducing time between attacks. For a total for this at 16 hours reduction. And medium velocity guns have advanced. That is great. We're going to stop that. We do high velocity guns. What else can we do? Oh, the anti-tank upgrades in that. Those mixed brigades, but we're going to start with this here. And commander decision making. Our commanders will make better decisions now in the Navy. Good. Well, Submarines already 42, so we'll do destroyer crews. That affects all those light type forces. We've got a lot of those. Oh, we have a little bit more, so carrier radar training. Cruiser crew training, yeah. And I'm trying to keep, let's do that. And I'm trying to keep these episodes a bit shorter. So we're going to end this episode here. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. I really do appreciate that. And of course, please post questions, comments, suggestions, ideas. I love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.